What's up, guys? Hey, how we doing? So I'm going to go through today. A lot of people are new to the channel and you don't know how I actually got to this position where I'm at in a battle with MX Sports and they're sending me legal stuff. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. I know a lot of you guys have heard it, but we got a lot of new people to the channel, so I'll go through that. And then I want to talk a little bit more about the Roxons, and I think we might want to forgive them. But first, hey guys, if you haven't got your Nano Xtreme on the Cooksey deal, it's a buy one, get one free. You go to the Nano Xtreme, put 2 of them in your cart, use code Cooksey at checkout, and one of them will come up for free. But you got 2 days to do it. It ends on November 7th, so that is your last time to do it. So Nano Xtreme, the best pain cream I've ever used. It has made my shoulder feel so good. Head over to the Coach Rob store. He's got his nutrition bundles. You know, for immunity, for brain function. He's got all these different bundles of nutrition specifically designed to fit whatever you're trying to make better. So head over to the Coach Rob store. Epic Garage Designs. Travis is a true patriot. He is a guy who believes in the right things, and he also does amazing garages. And Travis he's a good dude. He's bummed about Elsinore. His garage stuff is awesome. Check it out, epicgaragedesigns.com. Ride Strapped. Hey, and Chris hit me up with an idea, and he wants to throw some love back to a local race. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Of course, you know my answer to that is yes. Anything I can do to help locals and support, and from a grassroots level, Chris does some cool stuff. And anytime he asks, I'm like, yeah, of course. So check out Ride Strapped and support a company who truly believes in doing the right things for the next generation. If you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport. The Madden family believe in customer service. They believe in reasonable pricing. They believe in good business. If you want your stuff shipped, you want to know how it's going to get there, it'll get there on time and it's reasonable, this is a company to use. Hit up pretransport.com and just give them a call. And if they can't ship what you want to ship, I'll bet you they have a good suggestion for you. So at least give them a call and give them a shot at your business.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
All right, guys, so today is a new day in the United States. We can celebrate a little bit, but this is now the work begins. We have got to repair as a society, as a community. We have got to rebuild our society for the next generation, and that is so important. I know it might feel good to be like gloat and rub it in and tell the liberals to pound sand, but at the same time, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to go that route again. What I would like to do is just say, hey, you know what, guys? Let's take a look at the actual facts. Let's take, identity politics out of this. Let's look at what makes our country better for the next generation. And hopefully some of them will come on board because we need everybody to turn this thing around. We can't do it divided. And that's something that we have to fix. And I truly believe if we don't turn the gun back on them, I'm hoping they'll come on board and we can unite because it's worked so far and we need everybody to fix this thing. Yes, we're going to have a few radicals, but let's keep them as just a few radicals. Let's not let them get the traction that they've had. I feel really good about the direction of our country. We have a guy coming in there who has on-the-job experience. He knows what is going to happen when he, takes that oath. He knows how to make these changes. We've got the House, we've got the Senate, we got everybody on board to do the right things. Now, the big question is, will it happen? We've got RFK in charge of health. Is he gonna make sure Fauci is held accountable for all that stuff? Is he gonna fix the pharmaceutical stuff? These are things that need to happen. While I'm ecstatic that this is the first step, it's only the first step. So I have a new lease on America. I'm excited. I feel really good, but I also want to carry that into the next 4 years and being better for the next generation. Now on to the motocross stuff. I was pretty pissed when I found out that Courtney Roczen went to WSX and tried to get me banned from the event. But you know what? I forgive her. I get it. We make mistakes and sometimes you don't know what's over the line and what's not over the line. So I'm going to go ahead and give the Roxons some forgiveness. It was a mistake. They have every right to be pissed at me, 100%. And now, where it went too far was trying to go after someone's livelihood and keep me from talking about an event in general. What they should have done is, basically, if they're mad at me, and they have every right to be mad at me, tell me to F off. Even if you want to ban me from your pit, that's fine. They have every right to do that. But where they overstepped is when they took it to the entire event. That is not cool. They have every right to defend themselves about anything I say or be mad about anything I say. And apparently I said something. I forgot that I said this. I said she might have been the least attractive rider wife. That's a dirty thing to say, and I don't remember saying that, but I'm sure I did. I didn't mean it that way. What I meant was riders' wives are hot. She just happens to be not the hottest one of all. That's probably how I should have said it, but I said it the other way, and that's kind of bad. So I understand why she's so pissed, and that was probably an emotional decision to reach out to WSX. So I asked some forgiveness for the Roxons, because I'm cool with it, whatever. They can be mad at me. Just please don't do that again. Speaking of over-the-line stuff, MX Sports is spinning. They are going nuts. So they are attacking anyone who they think might even be remotely connected to me. It's crazy. I found out they're going after people that I've never even met, but it has to do with things that I've said and information that I have. I'm like, how the heck do they think I got it from you? It's crazy. So if you think they're not worried, they're absolutely worried. They've been doing some really despicable stuff, and they've been able to stifle it and keep it quiet for so long. But it's going to come out. Like we've seen, truth always comes out and it always triumphs eventually. It might take a while and there might be a lot of casualties, and they are trying to make me one of those casualties. They have been, I'll walk you through the whole situation and the extent that they've gone to keep me from telling the things that I see. And I know lately I've kind of embraced their tactics, and I've been coming back at them just as hard as they've come at me with the P. Davy Coombs stuff. And I've been getting in, sometimes you got to fight back a little. And whether you agree with me doing that or not, that's the route I've chose. But all I ask is look at the information. Just take me out of the picture, because listen, not everybody likes me. I don't like everybody. That's fair. You're allowed not to like me, and I'm allowed not to like you, and vice versa. Think about how many people in life you don't like. If you went on the internet, do you expect those people that you don't like to like you? No, that's just life. It is what it is. But I do have a lot of supporters, and I appreciate all you guys. I even appreciate the haters. That's fine. Like I said, I'm not for everybody. But I have raced at a high level. No, I was not a very good pro. And yes, I did race pro, but not very good. I've worked in the industry my entire life. I've dedicated my whole life. So I raced as a pro. I did pretty good. I looked like I was going to be one of the Supercross guys. I broke both my arms when I was 16. That essentially ended it. I tinkered around, did some arena cross. I didn't have much support after that. I really missed the window, and it never really took off. Then I went to college. But my whole idea in college was I want to learn about the sport, of the business aspects of the sport. I know the racing end of it. Now I want to learn how to make this sport better and bigger. How can I do that? The first step was when I got out of college, I went to work for Tucker Rocky. I was a distributor rep for 10 years, and I would go around to shops, talk to people, and I really got to look at the business aspect of the sport and where the money from these sponsors comes from and how to support shops and do that type of stuff. It was a great experience, and I also got to meet some good connections, be around some of the riders, and when you sponsor events. As I went on, I got an offer from Western Power Sports, and I could see what Craig Shoemaker and those guys were doing. They truly had a mission and love of sport that I wanted to be a part of. They made me a really big offer, and I was like, you know what? I like it. I like what you guys are doing. It's a family-owned company. I'm going to Western Power Sports, and I wanted to be a little bit closer to the action. They were in the process of getting way more involved than Tucker was at the time, so I was like, you know what? That's a better fit for me. I will move over to that company. And at the time, one of my customers was Thumper Talk, the big website with a big, they have a incredible amount of views and interaction over on Thumper Talk. Well, I was like, hey, Brian, my buddy that owned Thumper Talk at the time, I said, hey, why don't I just go cover Supercross for you? Because I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be really cool. I thought it'd be a great way to boost my profile as a rep. And it did. It did really well. It was awesome. But as I got a peek behind that curtain, I went, whoa, this is not what I expected. This is bad. Up until this point, I had the same attitude and the same narrative that they'd been putting out there forever. Be thankful that MX Sports saved the sport in 2008, and Feld does a great job promoting Supercross, and they're growing it for everybody. They're growing it for the manufacturers. They're growing it for the gear brands. We are all partners in this joint venture, and we're all doing the right things. And that was the attitude I had when I went into it. I just wanted to cover the racing and talk about the racing aspects of stuff. I didn't want to get stuck doing the stuff that I'm doing now. I really like talking about racers and breaking down that aspect of the sport. But as I found out how much the race sponsors pay, how much the riders pay, how much tickets are, and I started adding up the numbers, and I'm like, wait a second, where is this money going? But I knew I had to tread lightly. But as I started to write stuff, I started to get the talkings to. Everybody that has had a media pass has had these talkings where Davy Coombs, Sean from Feld, they come over and they give you this whole speech about how we do things for the good of the sport. We have to protect this image of the sport. We have to protect this golden image that we are to the mainstream. Do not put out anything that could hurt this sport. And they preach that into your head and they pound it over and over. That's the narrative. Anything you say will hurt the sport. When in reality, that's not true. That is absolutely not true. What it will hurt is their particular interests and their control over these interests and their pocketbooks and their money coming in that the manufacturers and the brands and people in the industry don't know about. So I played by their rules for a while, but it got to the point where I was kind of pushing it just a little bit and toying with some stuff. So Davey's not stupid. He knows who I am. He researches people very well. He knew I worked at Western Power Sports. He knew he could control me through Western Power Sports if I got out of line. What happened as soon as I wrote something they didn't like? I get a call from Western Power Sports saying, hey, Chris, what are you doing? We're hearing that you're spreading rumors and lies and stuff. I said, no, that's not true. What are you talking about? Nobody could ever give me an example of what was specifically wrong. The best they could do is they got mad at me because Zach Osborne, I wrote, he was a victim of unintentional bad karma when Joey Savacci took him out in the first turn. That was the worst thing that they could pin on me. But they would say things like, it's fake news, you're lying. They're saying you're doing these dirty things. I'm like, who? But they wouldn't tell me exactly who was reporting back to Western Power Sports. That's where Mathis, Coombs, and all these people were coming up and feeding them that narrative. So they're like, okay, well, hey, we're partners with the series. We can't have one of our reps out here disparaging them. So they fed them that narrative and put a ton of pressure on me, and it sucked. It really did. So I had to fall in line, and I did for a long time. It hit a breaking point when I called one of my friends who worked over at Rocky Mountain ATV asking about Forrest Butler. I wasn't doing a story. I was just asking. I was curious because I heard all the rumors about him not paying riders. I'm like, how does he get away with that? And I asked him, and we were just talking. We were bench racing. Someone at Rocky Mountain overheard, called Forrest Butler. Forrest Butler immediately called Western Power Sports. They had a big relationship with that team, told all sorts of lies about things that I'd done, that I was saying, that I was trying to tear down his team. I wasn't. Not at that time, I wasn't. My manager calls me freaking out, telling me, that's it, no more media, you're banned. I didn't even get to talk. I mean, he literally just started yelling at me before I could even explain. I was talking to my friend at Rocky Mountain. How is my personal conversation with somebody? It was weird, and it was scary at the same time because that was my career. I have a family, I have a mortgage. If I lose this job, I'm in big trouble. Okay, I guess I'm done doing media. So a lot of you guys have been around a long time, you remember, I was like, okay, I'm out. And I disappeared for a little while. About 6 months to a year later, roughly, I get an offer from a competing company, Tucker Power Sports, the one I had originally worked for. And they say, hey, if you come back, we don't care if you do media. Go ahead, you can do media. And I'm like, wow, that sounds really good. You know what? You guys are on some pretty good stuff over there. In hindsight, horrible career move. They went out of business right after that. But the excitement of being able to tell the story and continue my mission to make the sport better is what drove me to take that. So I took it. And at this point, I had a ton of information about Glen Helen, MX Sports, and how that all went down. The first thing I did was put up an article about that situation. I talked about the money, and I still treaded pretty lightly. I thought I would still get a press pass after that because I was like, listen, I'm just breaking down some facts. How can they get mad about facts? Davey Coombs called me enraged, freaking out, telling me how would I be so irresponsible to put this out there? Bud Feldkamp's crazy. Bud Feldkamp doesn't know what he's talking about. Repeated all sorts of crazy stuff, telling me I'm no longer his friend. I'm like, we were never friends. You just tried to manipulate me by being your friend. I'm like, we weren't friends, dude. He told me I wouldn't get a media pass. I go, okay, take your media pass and shove it up your ass. I don't need a pass to cover the sport. I didn't realize they were going to ban me from buying my own ticket. I wouldn't have changed anything. But the more that they've done to harass me has only inspired me and let me know how bad it actually is. And I keep digging and it gets worse and worse and worse. Listen, you can not like me. You can not like my presentation. I plead to the manufacturers, the team owners, and the riders. Look at the information. You are at a turning point right now. This TV deal that's going to drop in 2026 is going to be approximately a $200 million a year deal. You need to get 40% of that. The gambling deal that has them so freaked out that they're so mad that I found out that that's coming, that is going to be huge too. You need a piece of that. And I'm not talking about people, oh, how's gambling? How do they get money? It is a huge sponsorship deal, just like NFL or UFC. It has nothing to do with riders being involved in gambling. If they do that, that's a federal offense and they will be in big trouble. They can't do that. But it is a advertising deal for the series that should benefit the participants of the series. So what's my goal with all this, you ask? I just want this sport that I've dedicated my life to. I've worked in the industry, I've raced, I've been around so many families, I have so many friends who have lifelong injuries due to this sport, and I wouldn't take any of it back. But I just want to make sure that it's on the right path. And that's all I'm trying to do. So you can take a look and critique however I'm choosing to do that. That is the goal. These riders and teams were to get 40% of the upcoming TV contract and the gambling contract and a piece of ticket sales. Boom, issue resolved. I won't talk about this anymore. I'll just talk about racing. That's it. That's what I would like to do. And that's what I would like to happen. Think about how many jobs that will create throughout the industry. Mechanics, engine builders. If there's money, the way I figured it, you could do 12 teams just off of the TV contract alone. 12 teams would get $6 million to start their season. Now they still have their regular revenue streams, their sponsors and all that. It wouldn't change. But now they have a $6 million base to work with every year. If they lose a key sponsor, they're not out of business. They're still a viable team and they can go get another sponsor. It will increase salaries for riders, mechanics, and everybody throughout the sport. They will have money to create amateur programs and grow this sport organically. But they need to get a piece. Right now it won't grow because they're starving. Everybody in the crowd makes more than most of the riders. It's embarrassing. They're the show. They're the ones we're paying to see, and they're broke, and it sucks. All right, guys. Thank you to all the members. I appreciate it so much. Your support while I fight these guys is totally appreciated. It's $2.99 a month, and you're also entered to win the Coach Rob CRS custom painted helmet. We'll be giving that out before Anaheim.